Hi, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Josh.
And we're
Fear the Queer,
a podcast that talks about everything on our gay agendas, from politics and media
to race and relationships. So sit back, relax, as we spill the tea.
Fear the Queer! That was beautiful.
That was good.
I know. Thanks.
Good evening, listeners, and thank you for tuning into the second episode of Fear the Queer.
On today's episode, we will be discussing representation in media, more specifically television and films. But before we do that, we got to talk about what are we drinking tonight, Josh?
We are drinking very cheap Ketel One vodka sodas because we are on a diet.
Well, I definitely am. Cheers, queers!
Cheers! It's clearly working for him. Okay.
I look fabulous.
Alright, so Kyle, why don't you start the ball rolling and give us a little bit of history about representation specifically in the past 20, 30 years.
Alright, well yeah, so representation for queer people, I think, is always a trying process. Actually, in 2007, I looked this up. So you know GLAAD?
Yeah.
Okay, so GLAAD was founded about
30
years. You know GLAAD? Don't be mad. Get glad. It was founded in 1985, and for the past couple decades, they have been tracking the representation of LGBTQ plus characters on television. So I was looking that up, and in 2017, out of 900 reoccurring characters, only 7% identified as within the LGBTQ umbrella, and most of them were gay white men. So let me apologize now for my people.
Which, interesting enough, we are always being told that, this is the golden age of television, and then this is, where everything is really hot right now, is everything's on TV, and that's where everything's thriving, and yet we still have only, 7% you said?
Yeah, only 7% identified to be LGBTQ.
That's not enough.
And it's not enough. And, there were so many lesbian and bisexual characters, and in the study they said that they kept getting killed off. Talk about a bi eraser, am I right, ladies? Okay, shut up. I mean, but really, look at that. Even in television, they're erasing bi people.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, happy Bisexual Awareness Month, right?
Is it a month?
Or is it a week?
Well,
I'm gonna make it a month.
You know what? Happy being bisexual.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, it really seems like we're lacking. And I was reading this study the other day, and because I am a millennial and I read on my phone while going to work, I don't remember where it was from. But in the study, it said that 2018 is the worst year when it comes to representation for LGBTQ people, which is funny because I feel like we're always finding shows that we identify with in some aspects.
I was gonna say, that's interesting because we just had a show like Pose come out.
Right.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Pose is a Ryan Murphy show that has featured the largest transgender cast in history of television.
And it's really fabulous.
Yeah. It talks about the ball scene in the 1980s.
The HIV epidemic.
Mm-hmm. Even talks about racism and discrimination within the LGBTQ community itself. And yet, weirdly enough, we still get responses like there isn't enough representation.
There's not enough representation. I mean, there really isn't a lot of representation. If we can only pick out one show, I guess RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, which in itself, kind of.
And then all of a sudden we're it's silent. But, that being said, I always feel like I'm grasping at straws when anything queer comes out. I'm like, oh my god, I have to go see that.
Right, true. It's almost like a once-in-a-lifetime, moment for us.
I need a moment.
Will and Grace came back on TV, which is great. I think it's really funny. And they got more political. They were always political.
Yeah, but I think they stepped up their game, obviously.
How do you not be political after Trump's election?
Yeah. Well, I guess in this day and age, or for today, too, considering I consider myself not only being lacked of representation on the LGBTQ spectrum, but also the Asian spectrum as well.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that within the past year, we had Crazy Rich Asians, obviously.
Yeah, which is so good.
To the Boys I Loved Before on Netflix, and then the new movie Looking with John Cho.
You mean Searching?
What did I say?
You said looking.
Oh, that's another gay TV show,
No,
actually.
no, but like I think it was because you were looking at John Cho.
That too.
You like the movie ends. I turned to Josh and go, "Did you like the movie?" And he was like, "John Cho is one sexy motherfucker."
He is.
No, he is, but like,
this is why representation matters.
Right? No, it's true. I mean, after we saw Crazy Rich Asians, which I cried a lot, you cried a lot during. Mm-hmm. We laughed, we cried. I will never live up to the expectations of that wedding scene.
No, I know.
And if you haven't seen it, YouTube it. And if you're YouTubing it, you're a cheap asshole who should be paying. You should be paying a ticket. Go pay a ticket.
Buy the ticket for the movie. That's what you need to do because it's a great film.
And then go YouTube it too.
Yeah.
Just like get more views. Anyways, it's great. But after the movie, we were walking to the train, and Josh, you just broke down and cried.
I did. It was weird because...
Which made me cry even more.
Yeah, I was just so overwhelmed with positive emotion and the fact that I could look at multiple characters on screen and be like, ooh, I could see myself in them, or oh, hey, that reminds me of me or my family. And just having that alone, it was both, well, it was weird. It was both liberating and also very heartbreaking at the same time. That it took 27 years to get that.
God, I know.
You know?
I know, because was it the Joy Luck Club was the last Asian cast set in like a modern day time?
Mm-hmm, yes. Which was 1992. I think.
That's way too long.
Yeah. So obviously, we've just been rambling for the past 5 minutes about the problems with representation, and now basically the point of this episode is, hypothetically, if we lived in a perfect world, how would we see it if we were perfectly represented?
Right, like, where would I like to see myself represented on TV and in movies?
Mm-hmm. And since considering this is a podcast, and maybe people don't know, I identify myself as a gay Asian twink / jock, like that slides in between the scale of that.
Yeah, definitely it's a sliding scale at the Fear the Queer podcasting.
Yeah.
I identify as gay / queer. I really like, I think the queer moniker fits much better for me. Mm-hmm. I'm a gay, queer, mayo jar of happiness.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of like femme queen. I'm like, you know what? I'm a soft butch queen.
Yeah, I would say
soft butch queen.
Yeah.
I think so. Like, I'll put on some eyeshadow and go dancing, but I'm also going to wear sweatpants and a flannel to go to the grocery store. So maybe I'm a lazy queen.
Yeah,
I'm a lazy queen.
I know that just says that you are lazy as hell.
I make it fashion. They're like, why is your mascara running? As I'm like buying avocados.
Yeah. Avocados, pizza rolls.
Well, pizza rolls, avocados. They're the same thing. They're both healthy.
Avocado stuffed pizza rolls.
Don't. They're gonna steal that. Someone's gonna hear that and be like, whoa, millennial.
Okay, so I guess my question for you is, let's say, hypothetically, you were one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and you just got nominated for Best Lead Actor in a feature film. What would that role be to you?
What role would it be? Or what... like, what character would it be?
Right, what character would be in that film that would get you that nomination, or even possibly a win? Okay,
so, well, duh, it would be a win. But I would definitely go for... this is so funny, because I just talked about this with some friends. And it was, shout out to my friends I go up north with, Julie, Eva, Cassandra, and Brandon. But Julie presented this question: if you could play a historical figure in a movie about their life, what would it be? And I was like, oh, it's that German guy who had the sex museum. And literally everyone turned to me and they're like, what? And his name's Magnus Hirschfeld. He was born in like the 1890s or something like that. I'm probably wrong on my times. But basically he was a German-Jewish gay scientist who used his teachings, used his scientific theory to try to prove that homosexuals were as natural as heterosexuals.
So you would want to do a biopic of someone that you already feel represented by?
I mean, to be fair, biopics get Oscars.
Yeah. If they're British.
Good day, governor. I think I'm doing good, governor. That is the worst British accent in the entire world. Like, cheerio!
As Scarlett Johansson as Magnum.
Kyle Bachman as Scarlett Johansson as Ghost in the Shell. Okay, well...
Speaking of which, Scarlett Johansson, thank you so much for representing my people. I really appreciate it.
She's doing a great job. She is the most famous Asian actress. Where has she been now that she dropped out of that one movie?
Who cares? Anyway.
Yeah, honestly, who cares? Alright, so I feel like I would choose that guy. That being said, I would also like to see if it was like an original movie.
Okay.
I would like to see, I feel like it wouldn't be nominated for an Oscar because it'd be more like funny, goofy dramedy. It'd definitely be like a Golden Globe Emmy situation.
But see, you're already playing into representation politics and the fact that it probably wouldn't be nominated for an Oscar just based off of what you think could be nominated for an Oscar.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know, coming for me. Jeez.
I'm just trying to educate
You're, well, I think it's good to be educated. Okay. I would say, alright, so if I was going to win an award, first of all, if I was even nominated for an award for Best Actor, I'd be like, thank you for the nomination. I wish that there weren't binaries for what an actor and actress would be, and that I could just be nominated for the talents that I am. And then everyone would be like, whoa, shut up. Like, and then I would, like, lose out to Meryl Streep, who would also be nominated in the actor category.
in the same performance.
In the same performance.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, there was two.
Or what if she was playing you in a movie?
If Meryl would win.
Yeah.
My life is boring, but she'd make it interesting.
Right.
She'd be like riding the train, and she'd see like a hot guy come on and
Like imagine if you auditioned for yourself for a movie and you lost to Meryl Streep.
I don't even. That would obviously happen. Like, I'm not even going to argue that Meryl Streep would like snatched. I'm done.
Right.
I'm not like I wouldn't win. But if it was like an original concept, I feel like it would be about some person struggling with mental health. It'd probably be someone who is fat or like at least like overweight. I'd want to play a character who like doesn't define necessarily their gender within the binary, because I think that like that is something that needs to be seen in media. And you know what? Let's make it on Mars.
Okay.
Let's make it set in the future, because like Lord knows North Korea is going to bomb us and we're going to Mars.
Sure. Okay.
So, okay, same question.
Yes.
If you were nominated, you're nominated.
Mm-hmm.
What would you want to see yourself represented as?
Weirdly enough, it would be semi-autobiographical. I feel like it would be a fish out of water tale, which I feel like has...
So you're a mermaid.
Yes, exactly. Well, I feel like that tale has stood the test of time. No pun intended.
That I was gonna say that's pretty fishy.
Yeah.
Oh, she is so fishy, girls.
A fish out of water tale where, only Asian in a sea of white people.
Yeah.
And that's what was my story growing up. I was one of the 4 Asian students in my high school. The only person who looked like me was my older sister, so she was the only person I had a reference to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be, a satirical comedy.
I like that.
Yeah, just how silly people react to the sight of me. And
what would their
questions.
faces be?
Well, just the silly questions that I get all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Which you still sometimes get silly questions.
Oh yeah, ranging from anywhere being you speak so well, where are you, it's thank you!
You just start, screaming.
Right?
And, she's going through it right now.
Or, there was one time where someone asked me straight up, they're just like, oh, where are you from? And I wanted to play the game with them, so I was just like, oh, I'm from Iowa. And they're just like, oh, how did your family end up there?
It's just bitch,
get over yourself.
Do you remember that one time? So when we went out one time and we were just living our best life, playing skee ball, drinking drinks, dancing to Robin, and that girl walked up and she asked you if you shopped at that one Asian grocery store.
Oh yeah, and she just mentioned this random little Korean mom and pop store as if I owned it.
And we did not talk to this girl at all. There was no her walking out and being like, hey, how's it going? My name is Cheryl. I've been here. She wasn't talking to us at all. She just wandered over
and just asked me if I shopped at this grocery store.
And when Josh said no because of his, peanut allergies and nut allergies.
Well, not even that, but it's just
Josh doesn't shop. He buys Domino's.
I wouldn't buy it anyway.
Right.
I do take out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I remember her saying that to you, and I remember
she got so offended when I said no.
Well, she said no, and then I overheard it, and I was like, well, do you shop there? And she was like, yes. And it was like, well, where is this conversation going? Because, I've had 2 drinks, and I'm not drunk enough to think that this conversation is not necessarily microaggressive right now.
Right. Well, I don't even know what the point she was trying to make, because then she, like, flat out stated afterwards, she's like, I'm from Brazil.
And I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
Like, do you want us to ask you something about it? Because we
Right.
didn't want to talk to you to begin with.
Right. So, stuff like that, I want to poke fun of immediately in my little semi-autobiographical film.
Yeah.
I think that alone could possibly give me a nomination and a win.
Who would you cast? Like, who would be in your cast?
Well, John Cho would be my father.
Have you ever had feelings for your father?
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, I couldn't because I have white parents. But John Cho would be featured somehow.
Oh my god, I could see him as like the professor that you meet in college when you're finally feeling good about yourself and you're like, hey, like, I really need to get an A on this test. And he's like, I know you're gay. And you're just like...
I'm like, what?
You're like, what? And he's like, oh, I mean, I saw you were on Grindr. And he'd be like, I am too. And you're like, you're the faceless torso that's 2 feet away?
So now Kyle has turned this into a men.com feature.
Okay, but you tell me you would not have a men.com feature that would have no pornographic sex or anything in it. It would just be this one little snippet of you and John Cho chatting after class one day.
Sure.
I feel like that could be like a side story.
Yeah, it'd be like a trailer for...
Yeah, or trailer. But like, think about it. I feel
Yeah.
like that, like, you need a mentor.
Yeah.
Every movie, like, think about Good Will Hunting.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know,
He'd
you
be
need
my
like that
Robin
mentor.
Williams.
Yeah, he'll be
Yeah.
your Robin Williams.
Oh, and then we just hug it out.
But like for an excessive amount of time. He's like, Josh, you need to let me go. And you're like, you smell like mothballs.
Speaking of which, John Cho, I'm sorry. Like, I love you to death, but so handsome. Trying to think, who else would I cast? I would actually cast both Tina Fey and Amy Poehler as my white parents. Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, like, they could just be my parents.
Who would be your mom and who would be your other mom?
I feel like mom would definitely be Tina.
Yeah.
And then other mom would be Amy.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could, I don't know. Anyway.
It's 2018.
Yeah. So now, on to the next question.
Okay.
You're on, let's say you're doing the promotional
right, like
tour
working
for
the
this.
circuits.
Yes. Yeah. What would be the perfect day for you in this little represented world where you are top of the world and people see you as someone to look up to?
Okay, so I would love to... So I'm nominated for this movie that either is going to be about Magnus Hirschfeld or, you know, about like a chubby Martian.
Yeah.
Yeah, a chubby Martian.
Right.
A chubby gay Martian. So either way, I'm making something queer. And I think that I would require the promotional things to be at like an LGBTQ like youth center.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that like when I was young, I wish I had LGBTQ people to look up to. I wish that I could like look up to them and be like, oh my god, it's going to be okay. I would definitely be wearing something light and silky and blousy because I know I'd be sweating. We would release at the end of summer so that we could have Oscar buzz.
Like October-ish?
Yeah, October-ish. Hashtag A Star Is Born.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably be like drinking iced coffee a lot and just talking to people about my life, about the movie. I think that'd be a perfect day. I think, you know, I'd end it at some swanky club, still drinking iced coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably do a costume change.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe put on a wig.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why not?
Yeah.
My drag name is Nova Scotia. Actually, okay, so I've had a lot of drag names.
Yes.
Like, side note, maybe I would do a movie about a drag queen.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you didn't add your drag persona into any of this.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. The possibilities, they were never out there for me. I have to create my own possibilities.
Right. That's
Interesting,
true.
yeah. So, I guess I have to think outside the box. That's where reality happens. So, I would probably... So, a couple of my drag personas, I've had Vivi Darling, and then it was Vaginica Darling, and I said I was the only BD you'd want to get. And then I was Carbra.
Yes.
Which lasted for a long time. Because Carbra, sad to say, she's kind of died.
Oh, fair.
She's kind of died. I've grown, this has been like 3 years.
Yeah.
When you first met me, I was all about Carbra, and then it became Carbra Tristand.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of went away, because I think as myself, my personality has changed. Not changed, but grown. So has the drag persona.
That's true.
So then it was, what else did I have? After Carbra, it was Honey Glaze. And she was kind of a, adventurous dance queen. And who doesn't love... I said I was such a ham.
Yeah.
Honey Glaze, such a ham. Very Miss Piggy. Like, Kermie! I Ranger! Like, all that shit.
Yeah.
And right now I'm kind of playing with the new drag persona of Nova Scotia, who's kind of like, Nova Scotia, she gives the men blue balls. Josh is immediately turned on. But, but I think that with that, it's kind of like an empowerment diva persona kind of thing. So I guess I could always do, like, a drag persona. I would love to see, honestly, okay, here's real tea. I don't feel represented all the time, even though that, like, most LGBTQ characters are white men.
Mm-hmm.
I always end up identifying as either, like, the villains or, like, the matriarch over-the-top diva of the family. And I feel like other people feel like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't always see themselves represented. Because even on Will and Grace, and again, I love Will and Grace, but you look at Will, and he is so, like, straight-laced, like, there's a bit of that heteronormativeness that comes through.
A lot of people could just, like, put themselves into him, because he's so easy to digest.
He's an easy pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like, that's why Middle America can watch Will and Grace and be like, oh, those homosexuals, they're so funny.
Right, and that's how, like, I feel like, in a way, Ellen.
Oh, Ellen, and I love Ellen.
I love Ellen to death. Like, she's a huge pioneer for the community.
We're on first name basis. Ellen DeGeneres.
But, she's like vanilla ice cream. She's so easy to digest.
I mean, and that being said, she's so funny.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
So, Ellen, it took forever for her to say, my wife, Portia. I remember watching that as a kid and knowing that she was a lesbian, and I was excited about it because I was like, wow, everyone likes watching Ellen. And people would talk about it at my Lutheran school, like, oh, Ellen DeGeneres, she's so funny. And then she started saying, like, my wife, Portia, and I. And they stopped talking about her in a... They just stopped talking about her. Mm-hmm. But it just made me like her more because I was like, oh, wow, like, she's out there. She has her own talk show. How cool is that? I felt like as a kid, I identified with, like, Ursula the Sea Witch. Mm-hmm. And, like, Scar.
Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Yeah, Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Who's actually based off of Divine.
True.
So... Drag Queen persona.
Yeah, drag queen persona. And then Scar from The Lion King.
Yes.
Which is also a drag queen.
Yes, very much so.
Like,
dramatic as hell.
I guess I identify with really dramatic characters. But the problem is that when you have a dramatic character as a main character or even as a side character, they're always
written
the
off.
Joke. They're written off. And I feel like I want to see something that can be really dramatic and over the top and funny and biting and witty, but also, have mental problems and feel very lonely a lot of the time and show vulnerability.
Someone who's still rootable for. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So I guess that's, at the end of the day, if I wanted to see myself represented, it would be like an over-the-top, theatrical, funny person who, is political and social and crazy and creative, but would also, have very vulnerable moments.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Looking themselves in the mirror and be like, when I look in the mirror, uh-oh. You know that song?
Yeah, I do.
Justin Timberlake.
Beautiful. Also very vanilla. Anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like with my perfect day to show off this new film, I feel like I would actually donate part of my salary to adoption agencies across the country.
Stop.
Specifically ones that adopt to overseas children, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would also try to rent out theaters specifically for kids in adoption agencies to go see these films.
You could even help with, not to cut you off, but even help with adoption agencies that are adopting children, but also to queer couples.
Yes, that too.
Yeah,
yes,
because that's kind of hard too.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I also feel like I'd be nominated for Best Original Song because I would also have a musical number in there.
What would it be? What would you sing about?
I think my would be like an Ariana Grande break free moment when I finally get away from my small hometown of weird white creatures who stare at me all the time.
And the children in the corner, the background, be like, and I can't resist it. No.
Yes.
It's okay, so you're a Pixar film.
Yeah, basically.
There's Corn on the Cob singing to you.
Right, but they're have little furrowed brows and are Stay at home.
Like,
you don't deserve to go home.
wait, what does that music ever start? No, start it off again.
Like, stay at home. You don't deserve to leave.
I'm a corn.
What?
So I'm the other corn. Obviously, I'm not cast in your film.
No. So yeah.
So you would donate money. What else would you do? Would you like do any speaking gigs? Would you sign any books? Because I assume you have a book out at this point.
I actually don't think I would have a book out at this point because I don't feel like my talents rely on writing. I actually feel like my talents would be more suited for, I guess, like off-the-cuff interviews. Like, you know, like interviews that just tend to go viral because like things.
Because you would like throw a drink,
right? Because like things just.
or
go
because
crazy.
like so that is where you're going with that.
Well, right.
So it'd be like a Real Housewives. You throw a drink or your leg, and
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I could see it.
Maybe.
I could see it. They would ask you a question and be like, "So, Josh, you were balding, but you have hair now. So you want to talk about that?" You'd be like, "The only thing bald is this," and you like throw
my wig. Yeah. So yeah. Basically, to sum it up, that was a little overview of what we would think would be the perfect day to be represented in film and television for us at this point.
And I think it's constantly growing. We're constantly learning.
Mm-hmm.
Life is too short to just be like, all right, well, that's it. We got Moonlight.
Right, exactly.
We got Crazy Rich Asians. We got, Call Me By Your Name. We got The Birdcage. We got, you start going through all these.
Well, the good thing is, too, is that we live in a day and age where you can voice your opinion and every person's voice can be literally seen in an algorithm on, like, Twitter or Instagram.
Right, so the more people, not just, like, queer people, not just, like, Asian people,
Mm-hmm.
Every person, it's like, that's why you should go see movies that don't always represent you, but it helps the people that you know and love.
Right. Yeah, so I would definitely say to our listeners, anybody who wants to go out and support these films, watch these TV shows, like, box office numbers count. So buy your tickets, go see these films.
As shitty as that is, I
Right.
mean, capitalism is where we're at, and I hate it, but you know what? I'm also going to go support it, because I want to see those films made. I want to see people represented.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be seeing the same fucking movie 12 times in a row for the past 12 years.
Right,
just
like some,
recycled through.
exploding, straight, toxically masculine, spy movie. I don't want to see that. Unless they're shirtless, and there's, an undertone, gay romance. And maybe, I could be the villain in that.
Isn't it weird how everything you, describe turns into, a men.com feature?
I'm not mean to. Clearly there's something on the brain, and it's not love, it's lust.
Yes.
But, must be lust on the brain.
Alright, so listeners, thank you for tuning in to the second episode. If you have any comments about whether or not you feel represented enough, or any criticisms you have towards what we just said, feel free to sling them in the comments here. We'll gladly listen to what you have to say.
Because we just talked about how we feel or don't feel represented.
Right, it was just our own very personal opinions.
And I think that there are so many other groups that, lesbians aren't represented, black people aren't represented, women aren't represented, Latinos, transgender people. Mm-hmm. There's so many people, the disabled. Mm-hmm. People who are disabled aren't represented.
No.
So I feel like there is a plethora of groups, marginalized people, that
so
are
many opportunities that are missed.
Missed, yeah. A swing and a miss.
Yeah.
But Hollywood seems to be really good at doing a swing and a miss. So, unless, when they start to change, definitely show them that you want change with your, money.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to finish off this podcast with a second lightning round.
We're going to try to go quick.
Yes, we'll try. The second lightning round is what we're going to do is we are going to recreate a classic Hollywood film and recreate it in a way that casts them all as either minorities or any person that feels marginalized.
Yeah, like a marginalized person, which I'm terrified to try to do this because I'm not. I think I'm good at thinking on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be real, I don't think I am right now.
Yeah.
I feel like the vodka's hitting me.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes.
We'll see. Alright, so do you want me to start first?
Yes, please.
Alright, we'll start the clock here. And the movie I chose for you is Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, god damn it.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we're going to start off with Norman Bates, the mama's boy who ends up killing everyone.
Oh. You know who would be good in that role?
Who?
I would do. I want to say Zachary Quinto. I almost said Zac Efron. Zachary Quinto, because he's already played kind of that role in American Horror Story, so I know it's in his wheelhouse, and he's gay, so that's one person.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the next one?
All right, Marion Crane, the leading lady who gets stabbed to death.
Let's kill. Who do we want to kill? Beyonce.
Oh.
No, because it'd be unexpected. They'd be like, "Oh, it's beautiful, Beyonce," and let's pretend
And
that
they'd be like, she's in a movie.
she's in a movie, and it's not Obsessed.
Right.
But also she can do the thriller. She's not in it too much.
That's true.
And I think that people would not know.
Would anyone really believe that Beyonce wouldn't fight back, though? Well, I guess it wasn't Solange, so.
Yeah, so. Oh my god! That was so good. Yeah.
Solange versus Norman Bates.
It's only in an elevator.
Would she be the sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we cast the sister.
Okay, there we
Solange.
go. Yeah.
And then who
And then
everyone
the
else?
hunky, beefy boyfriend who just kind of stands idly by.
Colton Hayes.
And Beyonce's boyfriend?
Yes, Colton Hayes as Beyonce's boyfriend, because I believe, and this is maybe a little bit of a read, but Colton Hayes, as cute as he is that beefy, hunky boyfriend who just seems to stand idly by.
Fair. That's true. All right.
Not a read. He's a great person, I'm sure.
Alright, now your turn for me.
Okay, so let's do The Breakfast Club.
Oh, okay.
Alright, yeah, because there's like a handful of characters that you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the princess. Who would you cast as the princess?
I actually am going to piggyback off of what you thought of earlier, and I'm going to say Zendaya, because she would be perfect as the princess. Because
Yeah, she would.
One, she's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
Two, she wouldn't take shit from anybody. And three, I could totally see her doing that little monologue of just like, you don't think it's fair? I don't think it's fair that my life is just supposed to be perfect!
You get it, Josh.
Yeah.
You want to be the princess.
I do want to be the princess.
Also, we would get the Disney Channel people watching.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm all into marketing, so, come on, tweens.
Yeah.
Alright, so the next one, how about the nerd? Who would be the nerd?
I chose Joey Polari, who is from Love, Simon and American Crime fame, and also a former Disney Channel star.
Okay, so we're stacking the deck. We are getting
Yes.
Disney
True
Channel.
Disney
Disney's
Channel
going to make this.
Yes.
Oh, gross. I would hate for Disney to remake The Breakfast Club.
Because it's going to start with like JoJo as
I would-
like the jock or whatever.
Why? I don't like that girl, and I think she's from Nickelodeon.
Oh,
But
okay.
but still, I don't like her voice is so raspy. She. If I saw her in a dark alley, she would win.
She would have her life coming to her.
Yeah. No. So okay. The weirdo.
I would recast it as a boy, and I would do Ezra Miller
Oh, that's good.
as a queer icon.
Yeah, he's a big old weirdo.
Yeah.
And within his wheelhouse, Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's
It would just
perfect.
be like a reiteration of what he's already done before.
I like that.
Yes.
All right. So what about the bad boy?
I chose Amanda Stanberg.
Yes.
For basic identifier, she was Rue in the Hunger Games. And I think, well, I mean,
she's blown up.
no, she has, but I just wanted to say the most basic thing.
Oh yeah, connector for people who may not know who
Right.
she is. Yeah.
Right. One, I feel like with how outspoken she is, I feel like she would totally rule over all those bitches in that school.
Yeah. I could see her stabbing someone.
Oh yeah. And then she would fall in love with the princess at the end.
I like that, Josh.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, I like that.
Yes. All right. Well, I think
That was good.
Yeah.
I feel like if we go any longer with the lightning round, it's going to turn into a thunderstorm. So, let's, I guess we can wrap it up. So,
All
if
right.
you liked what you heard, you can reach out to us at fearthequeerpodcast@gmail.com. Send your love, send your hate. We want it all. Or you can find us on SoundCloud, on Instagram at fearthequeerpodcast.
yes. And as always, my name is Josh.
And I'm Kyle, and,
And
we're
Fear the Queer.
Bye! On this episode, we're going to be discussing representation. God damn it. God damn it.